We got a brand new indicator for you guys today, and this is one I've been getting a lot of requests for, and especially this last week or so. So I figured I may as well just make it into a video. Now, I just want to start off by saying this is not trading advice. I'm doing this as a request for some of the members over on our Discord. So if you're using this, use at your own risk. To start off this video, I'm first going to show how to use it as a filter with our Predator X order entry. And after that, if you're a nerd like me and like to learn how to code, I'm also going to show how to code this indicator from scratch on NinjaTrader. With that said, links for this free indicator, and also if you're looking for a free trial for the Predator X order entry, which lets you automate this and many other indicators as well, everything can be found down below. But now let's move over to our chart. All right, I'm going to quickly show an example of one way we can use this new indicator with the Predator X. And again, guys, this is not trading advice. I picked a random spot on playback. This does not mean anything. I'm just showing this as an example. So use this for your own strategy. But just as a quick overview of what the ADX is, it's the average directional index. And ADX is not a long or a short indicator. All the ADX is measuring is the strength of the current trend. So that trend can be going up or it could be going down. It really doesn't matter. The ADX is just looking at the strength of that current trend. One popular way to trade the ADX is to make sure we're above this lower range. That lower threshold is typically around 25, but it can vary depending on your needs. Now with this indicator, it's a little bit more than just trading above the threshold. What you guys have been asking for is the ability to trade only when the ADX itself is also trending up. So as an example, sometimes it's not good enough to simply trade when it's hovering above that lower threshold. Sometimes you want to make sure you're moving with that same momentum. If the ADX is starting to come down, maybe it's hovering in this area, kind of chopping around, it may not be a good idea to enter. So that's what this indicator aims to fix. This is going to give you a signal once it's above the threshold, but we're also trending up. And then it's going to turn off our filter once that ADX starts dying down a little bit. So I'm going to run through a very quick example with the Predator X. And again, guys, this is not trading advice. I want to say it 100 times because I know I'm going to get asked. But this is something I've mainly built for our members over on Discord. I just want to make sure you guys have the tools you need for your own strategy. So all that we need to do, I'm going to move this here. And I'm going to select any random auto entry. So I'm going to do an engulfing bar. Again, this could be a reversal inside bar. This could be a separate signal entry. You could also use these as entry signals, but most of you wanted it as a filter, so that's the example I'm going to show. So all a filter is, we're going to go down to custom signal, and we're going to select a filter. All the filter is an on and off switch. Are we going to allow trades to take place after this signal? Or are we going to prevent trades after this next signal? So on switch allows trades, off switch no longer allows trades. On switch allows trades, off switch prevents trades. And that's really all it is. For this indicator, we can use both object mode or plot mode. This indicator gives you a +1 value when you get an up arrow, and it also gives you a -1 value when you have a down arrow. So really, whatever you're most comfortable with, use that. But as far as the filter goes, like I mentioned before, ADX is not a specific long or short indicator. It's just going to measure the strength of that trend. So we're going to turn our long on when we get a +1 value. We're going to turn it off with a -1 value. And same thing with the shorts. We're going to turn it on with a +1 value. That's that same green arrow. And we're going to turn it off with the same red arrow. So that's all you need. Let's load this on the chart and see what that looks like. And again, for this example, we're not entering directly on the ADX. You can if you want, but for this example, I'm merely showing it as a filter. So we load it on the chart. We wait for some sort of a price change. We see our P&L, and now we can come up to the validation system, and we're going to select the signal for all of them, for the long and the shorts. And that should be all that we need. Our main entry is an engulfing inside the ADX. So right here, we get our first up arrow. And then if we look at the validation system, our longs and shorts are turned on. That means if we get an engulfing candle within this range, we will enter a trade. Here we get a red arrow. That means our filters automatically turn off. If we get an engulfing candle within this range, it's not going to enter the trade. So let's speed this up a little bit. So here, this was our engulfing candle, but again, our filter's off, not a valid entry. And same with this one. Okay, here we're going down, but our ADX is trending up. We get a green arrow. It turns our filter on. So now, if we get an engulfing candle or whatever entry signal you select within this range, it will enter a trade. There we go. We got the engulfing candle and it got us into the trade. Here, the ADX went down. We got our filter turned off, but it started trending back up and it turned our filter back on. We'll see if we get a long example as well. So there we go. Turns off, on, green arrow, and an engulfing candle. So I think we get the point. It's just an on and off switch that's going to allow trades or not allow trades. Now, this indicator has some customizable features. You can choose the ADX period. You can choose the lower threshold. You can choose the upper threshold, which this one is mainly just cosmetic. But you can also choose how many bars in a row must be going up before it prints your up arrow. And also how many bars in a row must go down before it prints that red arrow. That's all there is to this indicator. Honestly, very straightforward. Is the ADX above the threshold and trending up? Or is it coming back down or below the threshold? That's really all it is. And with the Predator X, you can fully automate this indicator as well.